welcome to another podcast edition of Humor Syndrome. We're talking about Destiny. It's Destiny Week 2. But before we get into that, something's on my mind. I love you all so much.
Okay.
You enable me to, like, get things off of my chest. You know what I'm thinking a lot about right now?
What? Shenmue.
Star Wars.
Yes, whoa. I knew it!
Star Wars.
It was a good guess.
It was a safe guess. Yeah.
Shenmue's on like his
Safe
stomach.
guess. Star Wars Episode 9, J.J. Abrams. What are your thoughts, Ben Moore?
Wait, is that confirmed?
Confirmed.
It
this
is?
morning.
It
Hot
is?
off the
I didn't
press.
know that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah!
Writing
Cool.
and
I'm cool with it.
directing.
I think that is an exciting move.
Yes.
Exciting
I think that is an
move.
exciting move.
That is like back of the box
I
quote
feel
right
like there was a handshake in a very fancy place,
there. Yeah.
and then they're like, let's pop some champagne.
Probably they were just like his phone rang and they were just like, "Hey JJ, you want to do Star Wars 9?" And he's like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah, sure.
Like, cool.
Hey, JJ.
Hey, JJ.
Star Wars.
Hey JJ, Star Wars
Ian,
9. What do you
does
think?
Star Wars 9.
Does this excite you? Did you want somebody else to maybe get in there for a shot, or do you think it is fitting that he's coming back?
It's fitting. I'm not surprised. I expected it. It's a big upgrade from the other guy, but it's like, I don't know. It's very like, yeah, huh?
Yeah.
Like when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah.
I heard the rumor report, gossip.
Oh.
The headlines were saying that the episode 9 director was egotistical in his views. Yeah, who knows if it's true? Just unnamed source close to the situation
Spreading rumors.
said that, so who knows?
Yeah, the quote I saw was he's very, very, very confident. Let's call it that. Was
Whoa.
the quote. Let's call it that.
Okay.
It was like basically like, this guy's a douche.
Yeah. So,
But yeah.
J.J. Abrams, jolly dude, never heard a bad thing about him.
Jar Jar Brums.
Makes me want episode 8 right now.
Soon.
We're
Months
so
away.
off track. I'm so
Coming.
sorry.
No, it's okay.
I just can't stop thinking about it.
I'm in a very fortunate place with my Star Wars fandom
Yeah.
because, like, we're so devoted to covering games and trying to like learn as much as we can about games. So it's
Yeah.
we as much as we possibly can, we try to be like up on like all the minute changes, the rumors and stuff like that. And with Star Wars, there's all this stuff happening.
Yeah.
But I just
Block
because I'm sucked into this other hole. It's just kind of like a new Star Wars movie comes out, and I go and I see it,
Yep.
and I get really happy, and then I wait for the next one.
Yeah.
It's just I get
That's
to treat
where I'm
Star
at.
Wars like a normal person.
I'm like,
Right, man.
I'm total
itching.
like syndroming out.
I'm
with
itching.
humor
Oh, yeah.
This all
about Star
started.
Wars.
This all started because I was driving here today and I heard Jurassic Park theme on 91.5 radio.
Oh, they're playing it there.
And I
Okay,
was
the
thinking-
classical.
they
they
played-
play the Jurassic
they
Park
played
theme on
the
the
whole
radio.
thing?
KUSC. It's a classical music
whole
station.
The whole song, and they're like, "That was John Williams, Jurassic Park." So then I was thinking about
Dude.
John Williams. Then I was thinking about Star Wars. Then I wanted to know if he was doing episode 8 and 9. Sure enough, he was.
Good.
Hype.
John Williams, dude.
The legend.
How old is that guy?
Probably like 80 something.
Immortal.
He's like,
Yeah.
he's like infinite.
He lives through those songs.
So Ben, you're talking about the black hole. You know what black
Yeah.
hole I'm in? Destiny
Shenmue.
2.
Dude, you gotta stop slamming the desk. It's so loud, probably. That's so loud.
The viewers of this show know.
That's
they're
true.
prepared.
They
That's
look
true.
for him. They
Okay,
can see
that's
his
fair.
tells.
Yep.
They look at the muscles tensing. They're like, he's gonna slam the table.
Destiny 2. We are now entering week 2. Week 1 has come and gone. And to me, this is the greatest time for this game. It's the Wild West. It's like an MMO where everyone's trying to figure things out. Not everyone knows the minor details. You know, there was the biggest thing this week was the Rat King quest. And it was to beat the Nightfall with 5 minutes remaining on the clock. That was a crazy accomplishment that is making the rounds on the internet right now, you know, trying to figure that out. But before we dive into the minor details, I'd like to hear your initial thoughts. Straight from the gut, straight from the heart. Week 1, Destiny 2. I'm going to start over here this time. Ian Hank.
I like it. It's more Destiny. Like, yeah.
More Destiny. So I'm glad you said that because a lot of people say, not a lot of people, but there are there is a view that that's a bad thing.
Right,
Oh, it's
right.
more of the same. It's Destiny 1.5.
I definitely, when I started it, I was a little bummed out. Well, like when I did the beta, I was like, oh, this is just more Destiny.
Yeah.
Like I did expect it to be more than just a fresh coat of paint, but like a ground up overhaul, while still. I wanted something impossible. I wanted it to still feel like and behave like Destiny, while simultaneously feeling and being a whole new thing.
Totally, and I wanna jump in right there because I felt the same way kind of, especially in the early quests. Okay, because they take your light. The opening is incredible. They have the awesome like memory thing of like your past
I loved
accomplishments from Destiny 1.
Yeah, that was cool actually.
But then they do the quest where they take your light and it goes third person, and you're kind of like avoiding enemies, and like sure it's kind of linear, and you know
Stealth mission.
but it was so different than anything I'd done in Destiny. They were taking advantage of like new and interesting ideas, and that never really came back in the campaign. It was like a one and done thing, and that disappointed me.
It's also very funny that they like took your light away, quote unquote, but then like you get it back in like 40 minutes, like 25 minutes.
Oh, you gotta have the light, man. You have the Guardian.
Oh, I know, but it's like it would you know, it's like you're not playing Destiny unless you have your power. So like obviously you're gonna get your light back pretty soon.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like it's just a funny thing because it's like they set it up to be this big whole deal, but it's not.
Like fighting back to get
right,
your light.
right, but it's like not.
Well, technically we have power now.
Right.
So like, do we not have light? Do we have light?
yeah.
I'm confused. Who knows? Brad Ellis.
I'm
played a
having
bit.
fun with it. Yeah, having fun with it. I have complaints,
Okay.
especially right off the get-go. I remember talking to Ben about these. Once again, the character customization is terrible. Terrible.
I felt like this
I didn't even do it because I brought in my old character.
exactly, and I felt like this was a way to not piss off Destiny 1 fans, maybe to not alienate, to not like put them out. Like, oh, you're obviously gonna want to take your character in. So we don't want to add all this customization.
Not me. I wanted to
you
make a
know?
new character.
Like maybe that was a theory. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was
Like it made no sense.
I think most upsetting to me is importing my Destiny 1 character. It looked worse than the Destiny 1 version. Like it was a decent approximation of the character that I made in Destiny 1, but it wasn't quite the same thing.
Really?
But I was like, well, I'm kind of attached, so I guess
Yeah.
I'll go with it. And
Oh
it just
my
wasn't.
gosh.
It wasn't kind of the easy huzzah moment that I was expecting, I guess.
Yeah, let me go a little more in depth about that. When you're making your character, there's like there's probably like 8 faces you could choose from. And that's it. You cannot rotate your character to see what they look like. You cannot zoom out to see what your character looks like. Like,
That's character
how did this
creation
game
101.
not
Yeah,
have...
that's
like,
pretty
it's
bad.
exactly the same as like the first game.
Yeah.
It's so bad. How can you not do features like even like Souls games, you wear a helmet the whole time. I don't want to hear people saying like, oh, you wear a helmet the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like Skyrim, you can do the same thing. It's a first person game pretty much. How do you not
Totally.
have that? Like I made a character, then I saw the back of their head and it looked so bad. I was like, I had to make a new character because it was bugging me so much. I couldn't do it. It was so bad.
Yeah, especially, Destiny 2. It's a sequel.
Exactly. Number 2, there
know.
is I
It's the
don't know
exact
why
same.
there is no new class
Yeah.
or no new like talent thing that wasn't in the Taken King. There's nothing new.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aside from
nothing.
the...
They're like adapted, but they're basically
Yeah.
the same. Yeah.
It's like you couldn't add one new class. This is a sequel. Number 2. Like I get it, expansions.
enemies.
There's no new race to play as either. How do you not have this in your game as number 2?
Yeah.
I don't understand why they don't have this.
That's
Saving
like
it.
101 too.
Yeah.
Saving it. Do you think it's unacceptable that they're possibly saving it for the expansion?
Like,
that's
I'm
supposed
sure
to come
they
out
are.
in December.
Oh,
Like if the expansion in December comes out and it's like new playable race, new class, and new enemies, it does all of that. Is that too late? Is that unfair because you're gonna have to pay for it?
I mean, it sucks you have to pay for it, but when they put number 2 on the title of the game, I expect a little more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like spaceships are exactly the same. Like I don't necessarily need space combat, but I wish they did something a little different with them. Just weird choices to me, but I'm
Okay.
still having fun playing.
Okay. Cool. Ben
Yeah.
Moore hasn't finished the campaign,
No, I haven't.
but did get to go to Bungie.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. I previewed it, and I got a hunter up to level 20, and they let me play, I believe, close to the end of the story. But then at launch. I have a Warlock at level 11 right now, trying to play when I can.
Doing his reviews, doing
basically.
work over
yeah.
here.
We just talked about it. There's like 4 games that I'm trying to cover right now, but I am trying to play as much Destiny as I can. That's why it's a little bit frustrating. Like, I had a free night, and that was the night I couldn't log into PSN. I had a couple of hours this morning, and then it was down for maintenance. Just like, the timing of some of those things is unfortunate. But I agree with a lot of what Brad said, and I think when I was at the preview event, that was definitely the first kind of initial feeling that I had, where Destiny 2 is not a game where you feel those big steps. It doesn't have anything super dramatic in it. But the more that I played it, the more that I realized the changes and the tightness of it did have a larger impact, especially kind of when I took a long view at Destiny 2. And it's a bunch of little things that I think are not immediately obvious. The storytelling, well, I think there are definitely... I don't think it's an amazing story. I don't want to get out there and say, like, this is great. This is what shooters should strive for. I don't feel like that. But I do appreciate how much more of it there is and how much more explicit it is, how much more direct it is. Even when I'm doing things like adventures, and I think adventures are a great addition, it's a very simple story that makes a sincere effort to inject humor, to mix it up with different characters, to reveal more about different facets of the world. And it's just so much more direct than it was in Destiny 1. And Destiny 1, especially at launch, I remember having gaps of time between, like trying to hit the next bump to get to the next thing. And it's like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And that was the thing that drove me nuts about Destiny 1.
Yes.
Is I feel like I was trying to get to something cool, but I had to do a bunch of things that I wasn't really enthused about in order to get there. And the way that Destiny 2 is structured, at least everything that I've seen so far, I open my map and it's like, well, I'll do an adventure. That adventure lasts a really appropriate amount of time. It takes me about 10 to 15 minutes to do. Then I can do something else. I can go on to a story mission. I can do a patrol. I can do something else. I can go after a lost sector. And I don't feel that same sense of forcing it anymore. I'm just kind of, once I'm playing Destiny 2, I kind of get into a flow, and I think that's really important.
Yes. The journey to the raid, I think, is a lot
smoother.
It's so much smoother.
Way more fun.
At the expense of strikes. You know, you look back at Destiny 1, and the main thing to do was strikes over and over and over. And I'm 275 power level right now. I've been putting in the time.
Yeah, raid ready.
And I have barely done any strikes. It almost feels like they're kind of pointless in a way. Like, there's no reason to do it. There's, like, maybe I skipped that part of the light level jump because I was doing other things.
I'm lower than you, and I don't see a point in doing it, really.
Yeah, so...
I did 2 last night, my first 2, and the person I was playing with got 2 legendary engrams and an exotic engram, and I got nothing but rares and a bunch of shaders.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
feels bad.
Yeah.
But, like, having all the faction tokens you earn, like, there's
I do
so
like that more.
many avenues of progression this time around.
The rep grind doesn't feel as bad. You know, because you'd have to have a certain rep to buy gear, I remember in the first game. Like, that's gone, as far as I can tell,
You just
it
it's all
doesn't feel as
bonuses.
grindy, you know?
It doesn't feel grindy.
I had a grindy moment where I was trying to do when you unlock challenges, I wanted to complete the first challenge because you get legendary gear.
Yeah.
And the one I had to do is I had to collect 10 bright stone shards or whatever. And, you know, I did the Destiny thing. I, like, went on the internet and I'm like, how do you get...
Of course.
I don't have time for this. How do you get
Check Reddit.
darkstone shards or
What do
whatever
I
they're
do?
called? And there was like a guy who was just like, okay, yeah, so you go to this Mavis Square, you leave, and it'll respawn everything. You come back in, there's one that'll spawn. You grab it, you leave, and you just do that over and over. So I just did that 10 times.
Ian, I love this. That sounds so silly, right?
Right.
That sounds so silly, but I love that about Destiny and MMOs. I did something similar where it was like, kill 10 powerful dudes with this gun, queue up a video on YouTube, God bless them, and it's like...
And there's like 30 channels.
It's like, yo, Destineers, you got this quest. All right, you're going to want to spawn here, go into this cave, kill this guy, teleport back and do it again a couple times. You'll have it done in 15 minutes. Subscribe. I was like,
like and subscribe.
It's like figuring out all of these little avenues is awesome, you
But
know.
it's
And I
like-
have an item that says "Wait for the arrival of the World Eater." People
Me
think
too,
that
yeah.
is the raid. It's like
Yeah.
there's so much
That's
mystery
is that
right
those
now.
space triangles at the end, do you think?
Yeah.
Which I had to watch on YouTube later because we skipped the credits and it like crashed the game.
Oh.
So I didn't get to see that last cutscene. But yeah, so don't skip the credits. But that, I mean, like, that's bad game design. Like, but it's weird because it's Destiny, so I'm
Yeah.
like, well, all right, whatever, I'll do that. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna grind this thing and run back and forth into the zone to make this crystal spawn for
Yeah.
no real reason.
Yeah.
And it's like, whatever. Like, it's so weird that
That's fun in a
that
way.
it's like okay for Destiny to be terrible.
Yeah.
And like, whereas another game, I would be like, no,
Yeah.
this is trash.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
if I had to do that in Yakuza or something, I'd be
Right.
like, what am I doing right
Yeah,
now?
I'd be
what
like
the
so
hell?
annoying.
I did have a very when I was playing Destiny 1 the most, I did have a very sobering moment because I think some of the activities in Destiny 1 specifically are just so nakedly like you're going to make this number tick up and then you're going to do another thing where you make this number tick up, and I had to admit to myself there's a part of me that I cannot deny that kind of enjoys just checking things off
Yes.
the list, and that's I
Yeah.
made peace with it.
It's
I
so
made
easy.
peace with it.
Yeah.
And of
Yeah.
course, you know,
numbers are going up.
there's the it's the carrot on the stick. It's the light at the end of the tunnel. It's the promise of new gear. It's the promise of finding a secret. It's
Yeah.
that
And
dopamine.
There are so many things in Destiny 2 where, again, I don't think it's immediately obvious, and you go, "Oh, that was kind of a smart way to present that." Like the way you get subclasses is, I was playing the other night, and I got my first other Warlock subclass, and it just kind of happened while I was doing an adventure. I just picked it up, and it's like, "Hey, you're filling up this bar, and then when you have this bar, you can go and you can do this thing." And I was like, "Okay, well, it's kind of weird that you're not making this feel like a bigger deal, but at the same time, it's like, oh man, I'm always checking back in, seeing how that bar is progressing."
Yeah.
And then when I get there, it's like, well, do I want to do a story quest? Do I want to keep doing adventures to bump up my gear just a little bit more? Do I want to go do? And it's always good, I think, to naturally feel pulled in different directions. Even having something as simple as, hey, if you just do a couple of matches in Crucible, you'll
Yeah.
get some gear. And it's like, if you hadn't offered this to me, I may have just put Crucible off until the end. And so all these little things that are making you aware of the different parts of the game, I think, are really smart.
Totally, Ben. Well said. Something that bothered me also in the first game was that the weekly reset, right? It's like, well, why are you making me wait?
Yeah.
Like, let me just play. But I think, like, you know, but now,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of into it where it's like you're getting things done, like you said, checking off the boxes, and you have something to look forward to when it resets.
Yeah.
And I think that helps too. It's like, you know, maybe there are times when it's like, oh man, I am kind of grinding right now. You know, I'm kind of hit a wall. My light's really only gone up like 1 or 2. You know, I haven't really got a helmet to drop that I need. You know, I'm out of things to do. Oh, but it resets in 2 days, so you know, I'll have a fresh batch of things to do. What do you guys think about that?
Go like this.
Got
You
something?
got fuzz on your face.
Fuzz.
There we go.
Got some fuzz.
You got it.
Got it. Thanks.
I'm cool with it because I have other stuff to play, you know?
Yeah.
But maybe if it's your only game to play at the time,
It'd be
kind
a
of
little-
sucks. Kind of, yeah. I can see both sides.
Something I wanted to bring up when you were talking about kind of the cool, fun culture that built up around Destiny. The narrative, like Destiny 1, was so interesting because I think it came out and there was a lot of initial pushback, especially, you know, Bungie coming off of a very successful Halo franchise and then making Destiny 2 and disappointing a lot of people from multiple different perspectives. But then you had these weird things, these things that people uncovered, and then you had the raids come out, which got a lot of praise from different people. And I'm thinking about Destiny 2 and I'm really curious to see what our conversation is from Destiny 2 3 months from now.
Oh man.
because
yeah. It's a living thing.
the way that they did surprises in Destiny 1, I feel like you can't do it the same way and have it reach the same effect because people are kind of expecting it in a way that they weren't before. And so I wonder what tricks they have up their sleeve to sort of catch people off guard. And I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with the raid. And I think it's great that we know like nothing about the raid.
And that's why. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's what I'm excited for, and I hope that they shift it up because right now it does feel like the exact same model as 1, where it's like, I mean, they did it way better this time.
Yeah.
Where it's like an 8-hour campaign and it has an actually compelling story and a lot of stuff to do.
Cool
and adventures and everything.
cutscenes.
Yeah, like enemy cutscenes were very neat.
Yeah.
but it still felt like a prologue. You know, it felt like here's the first part of a 6-part, 8-part game.
Yeah.
That you pay $190 to play, and like it still feels like that. And Destiny 1 felt like that to a huge degree because the first part was bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope that they shake things up and really surprise us.
Yeah, Taken King obviously
in
a
good
huge
ways.
turning point for
Right.
Destiny 1.
I mean, like this is like it feels like just continuing from where Taken King left off. You know, but it's like I was a little. They have new enemies, which I was happy to see in each of the races, but
Not enough.
Nowhere
And, near enough.
Like
Nowhere
there's
near
like
enough.
2 or 3 per. There's like the wraiths or whatever for the Fallen. Also, I didn't remember Fallen crawling around as much. I thought
Yeah,
that
they
was
do
really-
like some
that
crawl.
was
They
cool.
have some new
The
animations, some new
Warhounds-
tricks.
The Cabal Warhounds and Gladiators are really cool. But other than that, it's like okay, I'm just
I
fighting.
know,
the same
and that's why
thing.
I always go back to Taken King. I know there was Rise of Iron, it didn't add as much. But I go back to Taken King, adding the Taken. They were so fun to fight when they first burst onto the scene. I was like, this enemy is so cool. They warp in, they warp out.
They're
like,
multiplying. Yeah.
It's Vex Fallen and Cabal at the same time. Like,
But even that is very Destiny though. The Taken are a cool new thing that's just all the old things reskinned, and they behave differently. You know, it's
fresh
like,
coat of paint on it.
what I want to see, like, that's why I'm excited for these space triangles, is because I want to see like some new ass stuff.
Yeah.
Brand ass new.
Yeah, it's funny. Ian, 'cause
That'd be
I-
really crazy if the raid had a straight.
Right.
All
That would
different.
be cool.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm so hoping.
Yeah.
Because the light
Yeah.
like attracted them, turned it on.
Yeah.
So it's like space triangles, baby.
Dude, Ian, yes.
Fighting triangles.
That's why I'm glad we filmed this today, because this is pre-raid. This will go up on Thursday. We're filming it Tuesday.
When's
The
the
raid
raid?
drops Wednesday.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
currently reviewing
Like tomorrow?
tomorrow 10
Tomorrow.
a.m.
Oh,
I'm currently
Well, I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
I currently am reviewing the game, but I also wanted to wait until at least Friday, because Friday is the last big piece of stuff, and that's the Trials of the Nine, which is like the end game PvP content.
crap.
So I want to get that in as well.
It's PvP?
So yeah.
Man.
So
I
you
haven't
know,
done
you have the
any
raid for
Crucible.
PvE and the Trials of the Nine for PvP. So it's
Crucible, I think's better this time around.
Really?
I totally
Yeah.
agree.
I haven't done. I haven't.
let's dive
like,
in. Let's dive into Crucible.
I've been like, I want to do it just to get the stupid thing off my
I
milestones.
feel you. I was in the same
Those
boat
are
as you,
really
Ian.
good,
Same
Ian.
I
boat.
love the milestones. But I
milestones
like
are
even
good.
ignore Lord Shaxx. Like when he's talking, I'm just like, give me the thing. All right, bye.
Bye, Shax.
Before we move on to Crucible, there is one other thing that I want to say, kind of bouncing off of Ian's point.
Cool.
I have this sense with Destiny 2 where I was like, all right, yes, but I don't think you can get away with this again. And what I mean by that is I kind of agree with Brad, seeing like all of the things that you accomplished with Destiny 1 at the beginning was really cool, but you guys are talking about paying for that DLC again and all those new additions, and then I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be willing to do that if Destiny 3 we have to start over again. Like I don't think you can pull that same trick twice.
Yeah.
And we're talking about with the enemies, I completely agree with that. There are not enough enemies. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, man, Destiny, you've got really good feedback that's still working for me. Like right now, I'm not sick of blowing the heads off Cabal. I'm not sick of blowing up
we're
Vex.
all like
right.
still having fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by the time we get to Destiny 3, though, I might be, so just be aware of that.
Yeah.
But right now, it's
We're cool.
it's
Fool me
okay.
once.
Yeah, fool me
Yeah,
once,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, that's what. Do you think there needs to be a Destiny 3? Because like I was playing with
There will
someone. No, I know, but I was playing with someone online, and like he was saying, you know, this is really cool, but it does kind of feel like they could have just done a $40 thing that was like Destiny 2, but it's like just. I mean, I know it's a new injection of hot new crowds, but like
Yeah.
it does just feel like it could have been just an addition.
Totally. But I mean, I think just from a purely financial decision, it was like,
I
hey,
think
everybody,
I
you're all
think they're
starting at zero.
promised. I think they're committed to 4
For
with the
Destinies?
deal. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Who's that deal with?
Don't quote me on that. Activision.
Oh, okay, that's right.
So, yeah.
Activision.
Really quick before we dive into PvP, because I think PvP is awesome, and then we'll do the Nightfall because I want to end on some positives. But the biggest controversy right now are these shaders.
That's what I wanted
Yeah,
to bring
yeah.
up.
Oh,
Here
yeah.
we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Everyone's talking about the shaders, man. Shaders.
Yep.
Like, who cares about Destiny? I just want to look cool.
Fashion souls.
I think that's a big part
That's
of
a
it.
big
It
part
is,
of
of course.
it.
That's a big part.
Yeah.
Of course.
Huge part of Destiny.
So, for those that are unaware, the shader controversy is absolutely massive. It had like 40,000 upvotes on Reddit. It's all anyone's talking
People
about.
are like, don't spend money because
Luke
like,
Smith-
they're not going to listen to us.
Yeah, Luke
Unless
Smith
you-
came out and commented directly on the issue and basically said he wanted shaders to be in the conversation of, I want to do the raid and the Nightfall and I want to go back to this planet to get more shaders. So he was basically saying like, we want it to be like this rewarding activity. Like, yeah, let me go grind some shaders.
Why didn't they just do it like they did in 1 where you beat the raid and you get the shader?
Yeah.
And that's the only way to get it. What's wrong with that?
Right.
I don't know.
Like, I like the idea of being able to individually customize, which is awesome.
So you can customize each individual piece with a shader. You can customize your sparrow and your ship with a
And your
shader
guns.
and your guns. But they are consumables now. So anytime you use it, you're committed. And some of these are legendaries. Some of them you can only get in Bright Engrams, which is the microtransaction
Eververse.
of Destiny 2. The Bright Engrams drop cosmetic stuff. There's a little bit of...
You get bright engrams from
Correct.
leveling up
When-
after 20.
Yeah, when you're level 20, it takes kind of a while to get one, but every time you're level 20 and you rank up, you get a free Bright Engram, which is pretty awesome.
yeah, I do like that you level up and you get something.
yeah.
Which is cool.
I
But,
want
like-
that ramen emote.
But call me what you want, but like I love murdering myself out in games. I just like black or like
Murder myself.
or like Easy Allies colors.
red.
I wanted to do black and red. Like I wanted to do the raid with 5 Easy Allies clan members, all of us black and red. Like that's cool. The black shader is in the Bright Engram.
That's the only way to get it?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I only have 3 of them.
That's
And
the,
I'm afraid to use it.
I
Because then
should-
if I use it on a lower piece of gear and
Yep.
I get a better piece
Right,
of
that's
gear,
the
That's
thing
the
that
word.
sucks.
So I want to preface this commentary by saying that I haven't dealt with the system a lot yet. At the event, I got to level 20 and I got a few bright engrams from leveling up, and that's basically my experience with it.
Yeah.
But even in that limited time, the word afraid is perfectly appropriate. And it feels exactly like any
desk is
me
gonna
out.
fall over.
yeah, it's totally whoa.
Yeah,
Any
full leg is like,
shitty free-to-play transactions that you've ever dealt with, right?
Yeah.
And the thing about free-to-play transactions is they kind of always feel bad
Yeah.
in one way or another. So let's say you get a thing that gives you a random assortment of stuff and you don't get what you want, then you have the psychological effect of saying, well, maybe if I just stay on this path and keep going, I'll eventually get it. And then when you get it, you're like, oh, that felt good. Give me more.
Yeah.
And then the flip side of that word fear, exactly like you described, is you finally get it and you're like, I want to make sure it's the perfect moment for me to apply this.
Yep.
And then you never do.
And then
but
you
then
never
when you
do.
do it and you get something better, you're like, oh, I wish I had that for... And
Yeah.
so it's just...
It's unnecessary.
I feel like it adds this level of stress that
doesn't
shouldn't
need to be there.
for making yourself look cool.
I had the. This is tripping me out.
Yeah, I'm,
Yeah,
This is
the
the
leg-
ghost
this
of
is
whatever
Destiny
is
right
happening
now.
right now is like completely throwing me
the
off.
legs,
freaking
the
me
legs
off.
on the desk are breaking.
Yeah.
The
The biggest solve is
solution.
you should be able to. I said it for you. The biggest thing is that you should be able to take it off
Right.
for a price in game.
Like
You know,
glimmer.
you
Glimmer.
can, yeah, you can have 100,000
Give me something
glimmer.
to spin glimmer on.
You can have 100,000 glimmer at a time. Make it 50,000. 50K
Jesus.
to
Why?
get rid of it. Well, if they're gonna be weird about it, like
Right.
you
Make
know,
it 10. It's
or
bullshit.
make it
It's a
10.
shader,
Like,
like-
yeah, but
That's the
I
thing.
think they're gonna come out in
Shaders-
front of this. Really, I do.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna change this up.
They're gonna change it.
Yeah.
You think
That's
they
why
will?
I'm not
Too much
using my
backlash.
shaders. They're gonna change it for sure. That's why I'm not using them.
I mean,
Also,
this
like,
is a free win for them.
They should make shaders a choice of whether you want it to be piece by piece or everything. Because
Yeah.
like you get 3 at a time often, and it's like I want to put this on all my clothes.
So if you do it like the whole thing, it's like you
Right.
use like 2 instead of 4 or
or
something.
whatever,
You
or
get,
like
half
use
off.
one and it can be on everything. But
Yeah.
like if you want to go granular, you can use one on each piece. Like
Totally.
the thing is the carrot, like you were saying, carrot on the stick. shader is not a big enough carrot for it to be this BS.
Exactly.
Like
it's such a
not-
small
right.
thing.
Like people like them, but they don't care about them. Like
Yeah.
people want to have shaders and look cool,
Yeah.
but it's a bonus. It's never the thing you're actually after. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do a Nightfall 4 times
Totally.
to get a shader.
I'm there for the armor,
That's
the guns,
insane.
the fun,
Yeah.
the community.
It's funny that you say it's an easy win though, because I do feel like it's the biggest thing of poisoning the narrative, and it is such an easy fix.
It's such an easy. Yeah, just come out and say, all right, we'll change it up.
I mean, they did it to make money.
Right. Yeah.
It's so obvious.
Yeah.
It's like you
You
can
got
say
people
whatever you
riled
want.
up too.
You could say whatever you want, but we
Yeah.
know you did it. You had a meeting. You're like, how can we make more
What
money
does-
out of this game? Which is they're a business. I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're pissing a lot of your fan base off by doing that.
Which is
'Cause
funny.
it's
Like
like-
Reddit saying, like, I heard that Reddit was just like, don't spend any money on microtransactions.
Yeah.
They won't listen to us, but they'll listen if you don't get any money.
I mean, it would be a completely
yeah.
different story if it's like, hey, this is an additional way we're going to monetize this game, but you're going to be getting the DLC for free or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, then it's a completely different story. But because,
Yeah.
like you were saying, you're going to have this weird hesitation where they're like, hey, pay, however much to get the new class that you want, and we still have this weird system that,
Right.
I don't know.
There's so many ways to do it.
Nickel and diamond.
Let me pick 5 free shaders or something as like a sign of goodwill, or who knows. Like there's so many ways
Well,
that they can.
And also because
do this.
because they're random loot boxes in the bright engrams too, like it's like I want that. Like I would give you $4 or $2 for that ramen emote. Like I would pay you money if I could
Yeah.
just buy it.
But at the same time, it makes it more special because you can't just do that. So when people have, like, somebody had the table flip, and it made me go, oh, in real life. I was like,
My friend has
oh,
the
the
salt
guy
one.
kept flipping the table, and I was like, dude, so cool that, like, sure, you could pump $100 in, but even if you do, you might not get it.
Right.
Versus like,
And
being
if I've
able to
learned
buy it.
anything from
Yeah.
Overwatch, you won't, because they specifically know what you want and don't give it to you.
But the thing about, I have a problem with how it is now, because I do like Overwatch because you can at least eventually get it no matter what with gold.
True.
But like, if you really want that and you spend a ton of money and you don't get it, that really sucks.
They do have a weekly rotation
Right, right.
of bright engram content you can buy
Right.
with bright dust.
But it's always going to be like the B tier stuff.
No, they cycle it in. They cycle everything.
be
in.
the B tier
Everything will be cycled in.
stuff.
They had the Book of the Dead ornament, the Egyptian gun. God, it looks so cool. Some of that stuff's so cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
They're never going to
Bright
put ramen
engrams.
in there. What I'm saying.
kudos to people that don't give a hell about shaders.
That's kind of me right now.
me too. Yeah, I don't really care, but it is kind of annoying.
But I totally get everyone's complaint.
Yeah.
Totally get it.
It's a poor system.
Yes,
To be
poor.
sure.
Yeah, so we had two more things to talk about before we wrap up. PvP.
PvP.
PvP has changed. It is now 4 versus 4 low intensity, 4 versus 4 high intensity.
What?
If you watch my streams, you'll know I love saying that. Because when you queue up for it, there's one that's 4v4 low intensity. And the
That's
other
what
one,
it's called?
it's like
What does that
the
mean?
definition. It like gives you all the definitions of it. It's like matchmaking, rewards, blah, blah, blah. And it's like 4v4 low intensity. And the other one is 4v4 high intensity.
So is it just like the good people play high intensity and I play
guess.
low intensity?
Yeah, but it's like they do a bad job of like telling you what you get out of each one because they both just say rare and legendary gear. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna go into the low intensity one. Like, why do I want to go into high intensity?
Yeah. I don't want high intensity.
Yeah.
What is this?
Um,
It's a Tuesday.
so super intense now. PvP. It was already intense, you know.
Even in the low intensity?
Even in the low intensity,
Yeah,
because
it is.
because it is 4-on-4. Like people are not messing around. People are not playing games.
Yep.
So it's 4v4 now. There are like the same modes are back. There's like hold the point and
Capture
just
points, yeah.
control and
Deathmatch.
standard team deathmatch and kill confirmed where you pick up their engram. Some of the maps are really, really small, which I like. So they're very close quarters. And then some of the maps are a little bit larger for, more scout rifle focused. And I appreciate, how it all falls back on itself. Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Well done, Ian.
Well done, Ian. Thank you.
So it all falls back on itself with like just gearing up in general,
Yeah.
It's like if I queue into a PvP map and it's a long range one, I'm gonna switch to my scout rifle. And the fact that I like have played Destiny 2 and I've earned said gun, you know, I have more options available to me to switch it up on the fly, depending on the map that it is.
Yeah, I was playing just some PvP by myself, and I was getting frustrated because my team wasn't doing very well, and this happened multiple times, and I realized that part of the reason I was getting frustrated is because the other team was banding together, like playing more intelligent than we were. They were sticking together, they were going in pairs or attacking one thing as a group, and they were doing really well.
Yeah.
And then when I had teams where the same sort of thing naturally happened, we would win. And it really helps a lot that your supers, when supers happen, it's a big deal, and you really don't want to mess it up because you may not get another chance for a long time.
Yeah.
And just increasing the cooldown on everything as well. It just having a fewer amount of people, there's just less chaos, and so it feels
more
like
focused.
it's more focused. You've got to really make those shots count. You have to use your team to its fullest capacity, and I think those are pretty intelligent changes. Yeah.
And like being able to see who has their super on your team and their team on the top.
Yeah.
You know, so if the whole other team is gold, and again, just communicating with your teammates is so huge because, you know, for example, I was playing a game and my whole team, it was a very close game. There was like a minute left, but our whole team had supers, but like 3 of us popped it at the same time. And we wasted it.
Right.
You know, if we had done one at a time, boom, one at a time, boom, like that would have turned the tide and we would have won the match.
Yep. So powerful.
But at the same time, it feels like it's low intensity, high intensity, but it doesn't feel that intimidating because losing doesn't feel bad. You still get rewarded.
Right.
Like I'll lose, I'll get my token, I'll get a drop maybe. It's like, all right, I lost, so.
But that's exactly what makes me want to do it. That's
That's good.
Because I
It's
can
such a
lose, so
great
it's
way of
fine.
listening.
Well,
Exactly.
that's the reason I never did it, because in one you didn't get anything good if you were the worst, and I'm always going to be the worst.
Yeah.
Always.
Always.
I don't even mind.
No, for sure.
Oh.
No, I am awful
be
at
okay.
PvP.
Be
No,
confident.
The only
I'm
thing that
terrible at it.
Be
really
brave.
angers me, and I encountered this in Splatoon 2 as well the other night, when you spawn and that guy doesn't leave spawn, and then you come back around and you realize it's still there, and then plays like maybe the last 15 seconds of the match.
Yeah.
That's the only time where
Oh
I get
yeah,
mad.
that's
Yeah. That's annoying. You should get booted if you're idle for like 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Get out.
Well, maybe not the only time I get mad,
For a
but
minute.
what makes me mad the most, I guess.
Yeah, the rewards too are a lot better in Crucible. We were talking about strikes being kind of,
Yeah.
you know,
Irrelevant.
right now, and a lot of people, you know, when they hit that wall, that like 265 plus light wall, a lot of people were saying grind public events or grind Crucible and you'll get drops that are better. So they're encouraging people to play, because, you know, that's the difference too with PvP versus PvE is PvE, you're going to grind the same repetitive stuff, which is fun for a lot of people, sure. But PvP, like Call of Duty, Overwatch, whatever, it's different every time. Like, sure, you're doing the same maps, you're using your same guns, whatever, but PvP, it has like legs and it lasts maybe longer for people.
Yeah.
So it's cool that they've put that end game, you know,
Well, you
focus
can
on it.
You can absolutely say the same thing about Destiny 1, but I think to me, what makes it so cool is that there's both. Where
Yeah,
when I am getting
exactly.
sick of doing a
Dive
certain thing
in.
or in PvE, I can do an hour in PvP. and bounce
Because it
back and
feels
forth.
so different.
It does.
It's
It feels
such
so
a different
different.
thing.
Yeah.
And lastly, I don't think you two did this, but Brad and I did. We're going to end on this. The Nightfall Strike. The strength of Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Destiny 2 starts right now. The Nightfall Strike.
Yeah.
Hype.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Big boys only.
Holy moly. It is
Wow.
so fun. And the raid is going to be even better than that.
Yeah, it was fun.
But the Nightfalls are such a good time because, one, you're obviously getting rewarded, and two, because it is so difficult and you have to work as a team. And the modifiers this week were a time limit. So you have 10 minutes or 11 minutes you start out with, ticking down, tick, 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 tick. But every time you get a kill, depending on the enemy, you gain more time.
Plus
So
2
it's this
seconds
cool
or
like
something.
time crisis
Oh, jeez.
arcade feel
That's
to
what
it.
it is, yeah. I was thinking Time Crisis when we were doing it.
Yeah, so there's the time limit, and then there was also Prism, I think is the modifier, where the void or the energy type is constantly changing. So it'll be like void surges through you, solar surges through you.
Always surging through me.
Every time the void, every time
Same.
one of those is active, your gun the type deals extra damage. Everything else does less damage. So you're constantly having to change weapons. You're constantly have to be aware of the time. And they were smart enough to tie in that really cool exotic quest line into the Nightfall, which I don't know how that's going to work in the weeks to come, because this felt like a Nightfall. A very specific thing. It was like, do this Nightfall with more than 5 minutes left on the time.
The article I read said that the next 3 weeks of Nightfalls all have the time modified.
Okay, so it'll be finish it
So
with.
the Rat King will
so you still have
always
time.
you'll be able
Always
to do it
5
for
minutes.
sure for the next 3 weeks.
What
That's
is
so
what is
cool.
the light level requirement for the Nightfall?
It says 240, but they're lying. It's like
It really feels like that.
it's like 260.
unless you're
Okay.
like god tier at that
Yeah,
game.
they the same thing happened in Destiny 1 for the raid and everything. The starting point is that.
Right.
So in
And
the
then
very
end is
So the raid was like 260, and like
Gotcha.
sure you could start at 260, but the final boss of the raid is really like 280.
Gotcha.
I remember I did the raid, the second raid, I think, one of the raids, and we had no problem. I was like,
No problem.
me and I think Omar were both at like 265 or bare minimum.
Yeah.
We had no problem until the very end, and then we literally just couldn't do enough
Couldn't-
damage.
No
in
damage,
enough
and you
time.
die in one hit.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
could have. It was like when I got to the end boss of Silent Hill 1 and then ran out of bullets.
Yeah.
Where I could live forever, but I can never win.
That sounds like a Silent Hill nightmare.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's fitting, Ian.
What I'm realizing as you're talking about the Nightfall and as we're talking about getting ready for the raid is it's frustrating me because I'm my progress in Destiny 2 is going slower than I anticipated it would, but like I have every reason to drop this game. I have every reason to move on and play these zillion other things that are out
Yeah.
right now. But I don't want to. Like I want to stick, even if I'm going slow, even if I'm not quite caught up with everybody like I'd like to be, I still want to play it. And
Yeah. Because it's those challenges that is
Yeah.
like the lifeblood of Destiny. It's like, why am I putting in the time? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And it's, so I can do these really cool things like the raid, like the Nightfall, like
Right.
Trials of
Yeah.
the freaking 9 coming out this Friday, which is going to be so cool. So,
Yeah, I wanna
then
do the
Zur is,
raid with you.
Zur is coming this week. There's
really?
just
They're still
all-
doing Zur?
And just the way that you're talking about it, where you're describing the challenge of the Nightfall and the satisfaction you had in overcoming it and completing that challenge. But at the same time, I feel like getting to that point is nowhere near as bad as it
Nowhere.
is in other MMOs.
Totally.
Like it feels like I can accomplish that with
Yeah.
relatively little effort. But then when I get to the tough stuff, it also feels satisfying to do, and I think that's a really good balance to strike.
Totally. Like if Destiny was single player, you know, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, but the fact that it is alive, it is this living, breathing thing that, you know, hey, Destinyers, check this out. Go in this cave. Like, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I
Who
love
This
it.
is Destinyers. I love it.
It was
Like,
this random
I'm
video.
right now. I'm
Yeah.
spending most of my time by myself, doing adventures by myself, playing story missions by myself. But those
Yeah.
those tiny brief moments where
And the
a public event just
events,
happens
yeah.
right there,
Yeah,
and suddenly
public events
there
are
are
great.
a bunch
Yeah.
of people that come in. And you're like, well, I guess I'll do this, or somebody just starts dancing with you.
Yeah.
You know, these moments don't necessarily last all that long, but yeah, totally, they make the game so much more
And
interesting.
the public events can be heroic public events
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
if you do
All
different
of them, yeah,
things.
if you do this special stuff, yeah.
I did a public event. I didn't realize it was a heroic one, and I got a silver trophy, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you.
Sweet.
handing them out.
Yeah, there's only like pretty cool trophy list for Destiny 2 if you haven't looked. It's like pretty much all golds. There's like 10 trophies total,
Wow.
and it's like do everything and you get the platinum.
Cool.
Beat the raid, get every class all the way up,
Oh, wow.
beat
Never getting
PvP, like yeah. So, well, that's Destiny 2. I think we took the deep dive in. That was week 1. Next time we have this conversation, if we do another follow-up episode, you know, we'll have the raid under our belt, Trials of the 9. You know, after Trials of the 9 comes out, like a week after that, I think Destiny 2 is really going to settle into a rhythm until the first big content drop, which is rumored to be, or maybe confirmed now to be in December. But that's going to do it. I think we're pretty dang positive about this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Sales are really, really good, but down from Destiny 1.
Ooh.
Oh.
Destiny 2 is not on Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3. That could be a factor. And
Yeah, PC
there's a
version's not
lot,
out. A lot of
yeah,
people
PC
waiting
A lot
for
of
the
people
PC
waiting
yeah.
for
version.
PC.
a lot of people waiting for PC, and
Which is a bummer because they won't get that memories thing at the beginning.
and a lot of more people buy digital. I don't think the digital's
Oh, they
tracked,
don't come into it. Sure.
tracked
I-
differently.
Pretty much buy every game digitally.
Yep.
Yeah. Same.
Pretty much me too now. It's kind of sad.
It is kind of
Not
sad, but it just saves so much time.
I got that Amazon Prime, baby.
Yeah.
Amazon
You don't
Prime.
need all that
cheaper
stuff.
to your door.
Yeah, Amazon
Cheaper.
Prime is good
Yeah,
too.
you're right.
Cheaper.
For sure.
You're right.
But I bought
Although-
this digitally. Feels right digitally
Although
for some reason.
the like rare instances where they delay
It's mostly DLC.
your shipment,
Dude,
it
yes.
feels bad.
I
It
know.
feels bad.
It depends.
feels bad.
It depends on the game, dude.
Yeah.
Super
If it's
Mario,
like-
I'm buying both.
Yeah, if it's
Policy.
the highest
Digital, physical, whichever
Yeah.
arrives first, I'm there.
This has been not bugging me the whole time, but something that's been in my brain the whole time, and I feel like is appropriate for Huber syndrome.
Yeah.
Completely off topic,
Okay.
but I just keep staring at your God of War shirt,
Oh,
and I'm
nice.
like, oh yeah, that's coming
This
out.
game's coming out.
That's coming out.
It's coming.
Yes.
Like a Greek god in the Nordic world.
They don't have a date yet, though, right? Just next year.
I'm
probably?
saying March because of the history of the franchise. March.
PSX release date.
If I was in Vegas, I would let it all ride on March.
Yeah. That seems safe.
See you next time.